Hello my people, I am back once again with another fantastic video, but today's video is going to be filler? Yeah. Anywho, today we're discussing more words that I've heard on the internet that I severely dislike hearing. Alright, starting off with this, we have the word traumatized. Now, people on TikTok, of course it's fucking TikTok, usually say I've been traumatized after seeing like a search search suggestion. Like it would be like, don't search up the word TV or train, and then when they search it up, it's just probably like a woman with her tits out. Okay, you weren't traumatized, you were made uncomfortable. There's a large difference. Okay, being traumatized would be if like you seen your homeboy get slimed out, and every time you go by that area, you like start having flashbacks. You're just seeing his dead corpse on the ground. Now that's traumatizing. Sometimes I can't help but wonder if like this is the people's first time on the internet, because there is far worse shit going on in like, I'm not even gonna say too far back, in like probably like 2017, that would have had these people rolling. Okay, it's not that, most of the stuff they talking about is not that serious. You know, they talk about like that whole December 22nd thing that happened, you know, and there's a bunch of fucking on TikTok, like, okay, sure, whatever. They're like, oh my goodness, that traumatized me so much. I mean, I don't understand how. If correct me if I'm wrong, someone in the comments, or I don't know, somewhere, like, explain how that could possibly traumatize someone seeing just like a naked body. Like, mate, you have one too. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. I can assure you. Next word, we have overstimulated. Now, people use overstimulated interchangeably with the word overwhelmed, which they're not the same thing, but they kind of fall into the same category. I just feel like overstimulation is just overwhelmed on like super steroids, because you can get overstimulated from like sounds, probably smells, definitely touch. Like that makes sense, you know, that's a thing. Primarily seen from my experience, like autistic people, but people who are, let's be fucking honest, not probably autistic, say, oh my god, I'm so overstimulated, there's just too much going on. No, you're overwhelmed. Okay, you can definitely just take a step back, just recollect yourself. You're like, damn, that was a little much. I'm okay to go back in now. It's once like you're exaggerating things that don't need to be exaggerated. I think that's my big deal. That's what most people are doing. They just exaggerate some of the smallest shit. Not to mention, people who suffer from overstimulation usually have meltdowns because of it. People who say they're overstimulated, they're just like, oh wow, I can't take this, and they just keep it pushing with their day. Next word we have is genuinely. Now this is gonna be a bit of an odd one, because people have just been throwing the word genuinely in all their sentences in videos, and it's like so difficult to read. If I can try to find an example, I'm gonna put it up, obviously, but it'd be like, when you blank genuinely, it's just so it's fucking stupid. I'm trying to read it, and I'm like, this sentence doesn't make sense. Okay, you're just adding words that don't need to be added on, like you're trying to fill out a fucking word code on an essay. It's so stupid. Along with the word genuinely, people have also used the word low-key, but they sort of combined the two words, but in fact they use a third word, and of course the people who are doing this are fucking white people.
Flow state, low-key, genuinely. Low-key, genuinely. Low-genuinely. Flow state, low-genuinely. Flow-genuinely. Flow-genuinely. Kirk. Flow-genuinely Kirk. Flow-Kirk-genuinely.
They combined the word genuinely, low-key, and Kirk, because apparently to them, Kirk is the funniest thing on planet Earth. They'd be like, low-Kirkually? See, I struggle even saying that, and that word's just stupid in itself, and it's not funny either. I'm once again trying to read what the post is saying, and it says low Kirkually. I'm like, what? Low genuinely as well. There's that one too. I know words evolve over time, and eventually like they combine together. You know, like gonna and stuff like that. But maybe I'm digging too deep into this. But the word low genuinely is stupid as shit, basically. And I've only seen those people saying it. I've not seen anyone else say it, nor have I seen anyone actually find it funny. It's that. Now chud, that's a new word that people like to use. Chud itself isn't a new word. It's been around for like a little bit, and people once again are overusing it because they heard one fucking clip. It was a nigga that was like, oh, I'm such a fat fucking chud, and people were like, they took off with that. They love that word.
6'7". I'm such a fat fucking chud.
Yeah, I've seen people call themselves chuds when they don't know what it is. So just quick definition of what chud is. It's a derogatory term for people who are a part of the right wing who are extremely unpleasant. You know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, if you catch what I'm trying to say. It's one of those people. And I've seen people call themselves chud without even knowing the definition of it. That's like if I called myself, like, if I was like, let me think of a word. I got one. That's like if I call myself a coon just out of sheer haha, because I just thought it was funny without knowing the actual context of it. Now I sound like a fucking idiot. So you're gonna sit here and call yourself a chud when you don't even identify with what they stand for? If you're not even into politics at all, you're gonna call yourself a chud? What sense does that make? Although I will say, when you use the word chud correctly, that's when it's gold. You know, you see someone online who has just the worst take possible, worst political take possible, and be like, this nigga's a fucking chud. Like, you know what? That hits the spot. You know, it tickles my fancy. I love it. Now, my last and final word has to be LARP. You know, I only discovered what the word LARP meant recently through one of my friends. He said LARP is an acronym that stands for live action roleplay. Usually, from my research, what I've seen, people will go to like Renaissance fairs and stuff, and they'll be knights, they'll be goblins, they'll be all that rad shit. You know, they'll pretend to be that. But since like, I don't know, like probably like September of last year, people have been using the word LARP online to just describe someone who hasn't consumed the media but pretends to be a fan. You see where I come from, we just call that fraudulence or just being fake. You know, you're just pretending to be a fan for goodie points, I guess. You know, I want to say in my defense, but in my time, I did quote unquote LARP Persona. I was only there for the music, nothing else. I don't care for Persona. Let me get this straight. I don't like Persona. Now, I don't have the biggest issue with the word LARP. I would just prefer if people just said pretend or something, because it just takes the original meaning away. I mean, I guess you can say the argument, you know, they're still pretending to be something, but you can't be LARPing if it's not live action. You know, you're online, so it doesn't make any fucking sense. But my biggest problem was when people call you a LARPer or you're LARPing for a media you actually consumed. But there's these 4 shows that people are like the big 4 LARPing. You know, you have Wo-Chenuinely,
I just got raped by a Naginata.
Chainsaw Man,
Asa, I'm Asa from Chainsaw Man.
and ReZero. And this show with this guy, I think he's like a super pedophile. I don't know. But people say those are the main shows that get LARPed, which, I mean, I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen gets, why'd I say it like that? Ew. I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen gets LARPed way more than ReZero. You know, I actually know a ReZero fan. Yuck. I don't want to admit that. Ew. So I wouldn't say that. But I'm also here to defend myself, saying I did watch Wo-Chenuinely, okay? I'm not a fraud. That's my shit, okay? That's in my top 10. I'm mainly making this point because I felt attacked that I have to defend myself whenever I say I like Wo-Chenuinely, to be like, oh, I'm pretty sure you didn't even watch it. I just want to defend myself from that. That's the main reason I have this whole point. Yeah, that's really it. Alright, my conclusion, my verdict. People gotta start using the words correctly for what they actually mean, and if they don't know what the word means, they probably shouldn't just say it at all. That's really about it. I'll see you guys eventually? I don't know.